This is for you. 3, 2, 1. Once more. 3, 2, 1. We're almost there yet. Hang in there. So, diese Demo werden wir jetzt auf Englisch geben. Das heißt, ich wechsle schon mal. We will do this demonstration in English. And what we actually do is, we thought, well, we've shown you all the stuff, all the same during all the demos. So, our lead game designer, Mr. Eric Flanham.
On? Yeah. Okay.
So, Eric, what are you going to show us?
Well, I'm not sure. We're going to see some Necromancer, and we're just going to let the guys take us around through Queensdale again.
Well, let's see. Roll the demo. The choice of Necro was very popular. There was people excited over there. Oh, there we go.
Okay, so here we've got our Necromancer character. We're starting out again at that overlook, so we can see all of the valley below us. So the special ability of the Necromancer is Death Shroud. You can see Matthew's used Death Shroud right now. When you enter Death Shroud, your life force bar replaces your health bar, and you get brand new skills. One of the cool things, which Matthew will demonstrate, is there's a camera filming you as you run with Death Shroud, and when it goes back, it retraces your route. So you teleport back to your body, which is kind of cool just for running around trees and things like that, but also for pulling mobs and then teleporting back out of danger. Now the Death Shroud is also good for the Necromancer because he goes into it when he dies. So instead of having a down state like the other professions do, the Necromancer is actually more effective when he's down because he has a Death Shroud and he can move around. So we're coming over here to the garrison, and it looks like the centaurs that are attacking have just been driven off. There's an escort event that just started off. You can see Guard Barthol over there with the shield above his head, meaning he wants to be escorted, but we're going to leave him for now. So the Necromancer specializes in inflicting conditions and manipulating conditions, much like they did in Guild Wars 1. So people enjoyed playing a Necromancer should enjoy the sort of play they get out of it now. The Necromancer is also can be a minion master if you want him to be, much like in Guild Wars 1. Now he doesn't need to exploit corpses in order to summon minions. He just kind of summons them out of thin air. You'll notice a lot of times when a minion is summoned, the skill that he used to summon the minion will turn into a different skill. That's so he can do things to manipulate the minion. For example, that minion he just summoned, he can now consume it to heal himself. We're actually going to head down underground into a cave, and you'll notice that this area seems like it's got kind of a junkyard feel to it. It's because it's home to the Skrit. Skrit are a new race in Guild Wars 2. They've come underground from where the Asura came, and they're little rat men. Now, most of the other races regard them as nuisances because they do like to steal things, and then they use those things that they steal to build their homes.
This is one of the nice things to see. We always tell you that we want our combat to feel active and very visual. Like when we put this spell, there was a ground target at once, so you could immediately see the area that will be affected. So you can always get a visual feedback of what's going on around you.
He just summoned a swarm of locusts around him. You do that with the war horn, and now he'll damage everything that comes near him. So the Necromancer uses some melee weapons, the axe and daggers. You can see the Necromancer using the axe right here. And the Necromancer doesn't actually use the axe to strike people physically in combat, but uses the axe more as like a totem or a focus to cast spells through. So we're heading out of the Skrit caves now and down to the lumber mill. The Skrit often steal things from the lumber mill, and you can see we just ran into an event right now. The Skrit are apparently stealing logging tools, and we need to prevent them from doing that.
This is actually a pretty good area. I remember yesterday somebody asked Daniel, or the day before, if like that our demo looks so dark, especially this char area. What you can see here is like we have very beautiful and nice environments as well.
So you can see there's a Skrit running off with some gear that he stole from the logging. Matthew, our driver, is going to try to chase him down with the help of an elementalist. So one of the things we wanted to come show you, we've talked a little bit about our personality system, and we've talked a little bit about karma. So this is a vendor who's a karma vendor, and you can see Matthew can either pay gold or can pay karma. And in paying karma, he can use his charm, or he can be ferocious, or he can be inspiring. And then if he goes around being charming to everyone, his personality will change. You can see actually he's very, very charming right now. As he changes his personality and as he experiences his personal story, he'll eventually get opportunities to do some things that he couldn't usually do. So for example, he might be able to intimidate someone, might be able to charm someone into helping him that otherwise wouldn't.
Very nice to see this active combat because we're rolling back. We can actually side dodge as well. There's really, combat is engaging and it really makes you feel right into the action.
So one of the other things to note is in addition to cross-profession combos, some professions are actually able to kind of combine some of their skills with themselves for some interesting effects. So if Matthew puts down see in this next fight, if he puts down a poison wall on top of one of his minions, then that minion will become poisoned and will start doing poison attacks. Same thing goes for a ranger. Ranger can make a bonfire with a torch and then shoot his own arrows through it. They'll become flaming arrows. So in addition to relying on other professions, some of our professions have combinations that are kind of there for you to discover. Yeah, so this is again a good, gives you a good idea what it's like to work with some other professions and see that, in particular, they don't have a healer. They don't have anybody dedicated as a healer right now. They don't have anybody who's particularly a tank or anything like that, and they're doing pretty good. So it looks like we've come across a pretty big spider up here. You'll notice that it indicates that it's a champion in front of it. A champion is kind of a mini boss.
One thing you've seen when the Necromancer entered combat here, he quickly switched the weapons on his bar and thereby got a different skill set now.
Another thing to note is when we came across this spider boss, it was already fighting another player. Now we joined in, and we're not going to steal experience from that other player, and that other player doesn't own the mob. Instead, what will happen is we'll all share equally in both the loot and the experience. We want Guild Wars 2 to be all about playing with your friends, playing with other players. Uh-oh, the spider's doing something there.
What we have just seen very quickly there, we just helped another player who was down on the ground, helped him up. Every character in Guild Wars 2 will be able to revive other people without actually using a skill. You can just run up there and help your friends or even any other player up.
Yeah, definitely. So we're coming to the end of our demo here. I think we're going to take a trip into Beetleton. Or no, this is the Hunching Lodge overlooking Beetleton. So one thing to note is there are a lot of different types of events. This particular event is waiting for a player to come along and initiate it. And then we'll initiate it, but I think that's about it for us today. So if we wanted to, we could continue on and engage in this event, but Matthew's just saluted us, and I think that's all we have.
Yeah, I think we have to wrap it up. Yeah, hey, nice waving there, Matthew. Give us a big applause for our driver backstage, for Mr. Matthew Moore. Yeah. And all the other people backstage who did a great job here. This was our last public stage demo for Gamescom 2010. And say a big applause for Eric Flannel.
For Martin Kirstein also.
Thanks, Eric. So I will go and see if I can find Nima. We promised you party. We will deliver, I guess. Let me see if I can find Nima.